Welcome. I see we've doubled or tripled our camera pool. Welcome to all of you from out of town. We've provided a little bit of winter weather for you, but you have some sunshine too. I'm Leslie Ahom. I'm Director of Communication for the City of Boulder. I have a brief update on the Ramsey case, a couple of just sort of housekeeping details at the end. I will entertain some questions, but as I think most of you know, there is not a lot we can say on the case, and that will be the mode that we continue in. The Boulder Police Department continues to actively investigate the Ramsey homicide. Police investigators who were in Georgia and Michigan have all returned to Boulder, and they will be debriefed by case supervisors to determine the next step in the investigation. In both Michigan and Georgia, investigators continued to obtain background information, interview family and friends of the Ramseys, and in Michigan, investigators did execute a search warrant for the Ramseys' home in Charlevoix. That warrant has been sealed by a judge in Michigan. The Boulder police investigators were in Michigan from Friday, January 3rd through Monday, January 6th. Everyone returned and is back in Boulder at this time. Some of you may know that Boulder police were in court this morning requesting that the search warrant for the Ramseys' home in Boulder be sealed. We've just had word that Judge McDonald has sealed that warrant for 30 days. Other procedural updates in the Ramsey case include that the Ramseys' legal counsel have offered to respond to some questions supplied by Boulder police in writing. We cannot confirm at this time if those responses have been forthcoming. Police will not be releasing the questions and answers should that happen. Police have nothing further to add on the issue concerning the formal interviews with the Ramsey family. The Colorado Bureau of Investigation is continuing to supply assistance to the Boulder police concerning lab and forensic evidence. Depending on the type of material they are investigating and the examinations, that analysis can take weeks and in some cases up to months to do, and I know many of you are familiar with that. In any case, the results of those lab tests, when they do come back to the police, will not be released at this time. That will become part of the ongoing investigation and will not be made public until the case goes to court. Many of you have been very helpful in publicizing the voicemail tip line that the police have been using. We've received almost 300 calls on that tip line. Police have assigned staff to monitor and log those calls. Some are opinions, some are suggestions, some are potentially solid leads, and those that appear useful to police are being followed up upon by the police. As many of you have reported, we are aware that the Ramsey family has hired private investigators. We would just like to point out that private investigators who are looking into this case are entitled to the same information that you are, that the public is. They are private citizens. They're not entitled to anything different than any of you or any of the general public. There have also been some suggestions, or some questions concerning the role of the Boulder District Attorney's Office. They have been providing counsel and legal advice to the Boulder Police Department on the preparation of this case, and they will continue to do so. The FBI continues to provide counsel should Boulder Police need their assistance in this case. Finally, I'd like to let you know that Boulder Police Chief Tom Kobe has indicated he will make a statement to the Boulder community later this week. When we have a specific time confirmed, we will certainly let you know, and therefore all the public. That basically concludes my remarks. Before I take any questions, I would like to just add one sort of housekeeping detail. Despite the attention this has been getting, we actually have a city to run. Tonight is our regular city council meeting. They're held on the first and third Tuesday of the month. Boulder is a city manager, city council form of government. And at the beginning of this evening's meeting, our city manager, Tim Honey, will make just some brief remarks to council, who have, of course, been briefed throughout this, but kept in the loop. But he'll just make a couple comments to them. Obviously, this is a business meeting tonight. The public attends. People who have business with the council will be here. We are not able to allow 18 or 20 video cameras and all the still photographers in. However, we have made arrangements with Channel 9, the local NBC affiliate, who will serve as a pool camera for the footage tonight. City Manager Honey's remarks will be very brief at the beginning of the meeting, which starts at 6 p.m. That meeting is televised live on our local government access channel, which is Boulder Channel 8, and that's throughout the Boulder area. So it is live. That is another opportunity. So we're sorry we can't accommodate all of you. We're kind of running out of space on some of this, but we certainly appreciate your interest, and I will take a few questions.
You've contended all along that the Ramseys are not suspects in the case. Yet you spent about 10 days at their home here in Boulder. You were at their home in Detroit. You spent several days in Atlanta. Clearly, you have to be suspicious of the Ramseys. Are we just talking about semantic distinctions, or are you still contending they are not suspects in any sense of the word?
We have never contended that anyone is or is not a suspect. We have not ruled anybody in, nor have we ruled anybody out. We are continuing the investigation. Obviously, this crime involved the Ramsey family, so background and family, friends, and homes are being investigated. They have not been ruled out.
But the focus is on them, though, is it not, ma'am?
Question?
It has been said all along the Ramseys were cooperating fully, and yet there was this hope for a face-to-face meeting. Now we're talking about notes being passed back and forth. Is it still considered full cooperation at this point, or is it something else now?
We are hoping that the Ramseys continue to support. They have been cooperative to this point. We're pursuing that. We really don't have anything else to add at this time. Yes, sir.
When is the last time the Boulder Police Department let people who were witnesses in something talk to them when they felt like it, and then, if ever, and then let them talk by written statements if they felt like doing it that way?
Police...
Aren't they material witnesses that could be held in jail or something if they don't cooperate?
They are not under arrest. There is no legal reason to detain them at this time, nor other people. Police will continue to investigate the case and will talk to the Ramseys as appropriate.
How much of the investigation is focusing on John Ramsey's company, Access Graphics?
I beg your pardon?
How much of the investigation is focusing on Ramsey's company, Access Graphics?
I don't have any specifics on that.
Leslie, typically in cases like this, there are at least routine bulletins from police along the lines of, if anybody saw anything unusual in the neighborhood at this time, if anybody saw a suspicious vehicle, please let us know. There's been absolutely nothing like that from the police department. Why is that?
Well, that's not quite correct. About a week or so ago, we did put out two numbers, one of which was an 800 number as well as a local Boulder number, which were the Crime Stoppers number. We now have this voicemail tip line, which is 303-441-4310. As I indicated, we've received almost 300 calls on that, so police are encouraging people to call if they have information that could be helpful.
Leslie, would it be fair to characterize the police department as being frustrated that the Ramseys have not agreed to do a face-to-face sit-down?
I don't know that that's necessarily accurate, Greg. The police are continuing their investigation as fully as possible. They are hoping for full and continued cooperation. They're working through all of this.
If they don't get cooperation, Leslie, will there come a point in time where they will dictate when the interview will take place?
I don't know that that's in their purview. The Ramseys are not under arrest. The interviews are going forward, we hope, and we're working through their attorneys.
Short of an arrest, are they under any legal obligation to cooperate with police with interviews?
I don't believe so.
Leslie?
Yes.
Has the Ramseys lawyers told the police they will not sit down for a face-to-face interrogation?
I do not have that information.
You were talking about lab results and waiting for stuff to come back, but how close are you to an arrest?
There's no timeline we're putting out at this point. Police don't have specifics on that. Obviously, they want to be successful in this case. They are continuing to investigate it professionally. They want an outcome that's going to be successful in court. they'll take whatever time they need to see that that happens.
Leslie, based on your comments about the DA's involvement and some other comments you made in your statement, it makes it sound like you are anticipating an arrest.
This is normal police procedure. The DA's office works with the Boulder Police Department in the preparation of the case. They would do so in any case, and they are providing normal assistance in this.
Has a
case.
search warrant been asked for or
Do you
executed?
still consider this a kidnapping since the bargaining chip, the body, was left behind at the scene?
Police have not ruled out the kidnapping aspect of this, but as we have said from the point at which the body was found, they are focusing on this as a homicide investigation.
Has a search warrant been asked for or executed of the business, Access Graphics?
I don't have that information.
How can you say, Leslie, that you don't have any suspects on one hand, and on the other hand say that there is not a killer, a serial killer of children out there on the loose? I know you've covered this before, but people out there are afraid.
We can certainly understand people's concern, their emotional concern and involvement in this case, especially people who were friends and neighbors of the Ramseys. But the police have continued to say that, of course, Boulder is a town of 96,000 people. People should take normal precautions that they took a year ago or a month ago. You don't leave your children unattended. You don't let them sit in the car alone. These are normal precautions. And we certainly would suggest that people continue this. But they don't feel that there is a particular concern that Boulder is any more or less safe than it was a week ago or a month ago.
Why not?
I don't have anything further to add on that.
There are reports of a convicted pedophile in the neighborhood. Can you confirm
I
those?
cannot confirm that.
Leslie, is there confidence on the part of the police department that this will be solved?
The police are confident that they are conducting the most appropriate investigation possible. They want an outcome, as does the public, and as does this community, and obviously as do you, that will be successful. It would be, I think, irresponsible to predict the future. They will continue to do the investigation properly.
Will
But
the
it
older,
seems that you're taking a high priority, it is not a priority to talk to the parents, and yet you're taking the time of these detectives to send them to their vacation home in Michigan. Why such an interest in this family's vacation home if you don't even seem to want to talk to the parents?
I think that's not quite an accurate portrayal. Police have been working on setting up an interview, a formal interview with the Ramseys, and they will continue to try that. I'm sorry?
Why go to Michigan then?
They are doing background, collecting information, talking with people, and following through on a thorough investigation.
Will the police be questioning the older stepbrother?
I believe they have spoken with him, and I know they have taken blood, hair, and handwriting samples from him at this time.
Spoken to him in a formal interview, Miranda rights?
I don't have the specifics on that.
If
Yes,
the
sir?
Ramseys do not provide a thorough interview, could that seriously hamper the investigation?
I don't have any information on that, sir.
Leslie, a lot earlier, when there weren't so many people here, you said that the older siblings were out of town at the time of the murder. Can you put a location of where the older siblings were or how far out of town they were?
I don't have that. All we said earlier was that the older siblings were out of town at the time of the incident.
Who was at home during the time?
I don't have that information.
Leslie, can you give us a chronology of what happened that night, that morning when the body was found, and previous to that?
We are not releasing, nor have we released any information on the chronology or the events that occurred in the home. The 911 call came into police shortly before 6 a.m. on the morning of December 26th. They responded to a kidnapping call, and then the subsequent events unfolded. We do not have the specifics of what went on in the house. That has not been officially released.
Have the private investigators tried to coordinate with the police in any sense? Have the police afforded them any cooperation at all?
The police, I don't know if they have tried to contact them or not. As I've stated, private investigators are just that, private citizens. They are no more or less entitled to information than are you, and that is the procedure I believe the Boulder Police Department will follow. Last question.
When will you be releasing the contact of the 911 case?
When it is no longer needed as part of a tool during the active investigation, if police feel they can release that without jeopardizing their investigation, they will do so at that time. Thank you.
Kelvin?